A real estate transaction is potentially the largest investment we make in our lives. Whether you're buying and selling your personal home or investing in real estate, you need the knowledge to make the right decisions. Get ready. Robin is a Texas realtor and has the experience to give you the information you need to make the right decisions. Welcome to Relax, I Got This with your host, RobinMcCoy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin McCoy. This is Relax, I Got This. Thanks for tuning in. And today we're going to talk insurance. Bum, 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 bum.
Fun, yes.
So I'm Todd Campbell with the Todd Campbell Agency at Farmers with me today. And thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So you've been in business since 2009, and
Yes.
you do all the types of insurance. So tell me what that means, all the types.
We do all the things. So it's funny how many people say, well, Todd, I know you do home insurance. Do you do auto insurance? And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
We do auto insurance. We do life insurance. We do business insurance. I mean, if you're having a block party for your neighborhood and you need 1 day insurance, we can write that. We write it outside of Farmers. So anything that Farmers doesn't write, we broker outside of Farmers. So what I like to tell people is, do we do it? Yes, we do is the answer. Just ask us about anything that you need coverage for. We can figure out a solution for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And the thing about, insurance, right? We go through a real estate transaction and we're going through, and then all of a sudden the lender says, well, who's your homeowner's insurance?
Yeah.
And the buyers go, I don't know. Does it matter? Does it matter, Todd?
It certainly matters for so many different reasons. And those reasons vary depending on who you ask. You ask the real estate agent, ask the lender, if you ask the insurance agent, they'll have a different reason why it matters.
Nobody likes insurance. They don't like health insurance. They don't like paying car insurance. They sure don't like paying homeowners insurance because nothing ever, why do I need it? Why do I need it?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're absolutely right. You say the word insurance and people get a little bit nauseous. Unless you're talking to someone who it's saved them financially before.
Right.
So anyone whose house is burned down, they love their insurance company.
Yeah.
Anyone who was in a big car accident and, it was a huge mess and the insurance company took care of everything, they love it. I mean, I just broke my leg in a bike race and my health insurance, it was at like $88,000 and I had to pay like $6,000. So do the math. That's pretty good.
You don't know you need it until you need it.
It's one of those things, like as long as it just is affordable and that's the thing, like whether it's affordable or not, when you need it, you just want it to pay. You don't care what you're paying for it. You just want it to give you, put you back whole. And that's what really matters at the end of the day.
So let's go down that road a little bit. So now I've got, I'm a buyer, my lender and my real estate agent are telling me I got to pick an insurance company. I've got my car insurance through name, whoever it is. And can I just go with them? And how do I know if they're good? How do I judge that as a consumer?
That's a tough question to answer because you go online and you can read reviews on all the insurance companies and it's all bad because people who have
nobody writes.
No, they don't. When it comes to insurance, they just go on and write bad reviews about it. So it's a hard question to answer. I would just say the people you deal with is what matters. It's a service industry. We don't sell a product that you can touch or feel or taste or smell. It's the words that are coming out of our mouth is our product. So when you get an agent who can explain things in easy to understand terms, and then when you make a claim that they take care of you, you understand what's going on and you get a fair settlement for your loss. That's what matters. And so I tell people, how do you find out who's good? Ask contractors, ask roofers, ask people who get paid by the insurance company to do work and ask them who's the easy ones to deal with. And I say that because I know for a fact that when roofers deal with Farmers insurance, they love it because they just don't give them the runaround, which means they don't give the clients the runaround.
Right.
That
is the hardest. So, roofs, right? That's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, real estate transaction, how's the roof? Call the
Yeah.
insurance company, right?
That's
It's
always all
like
about the
this,
roof. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And in my experience, yes, sometimes trying to get the roof hasn't been replaced for a while. Let's see if the seller can get it replaced under their insurance, because it's not going to cover a new buyer until another good hailstorm comes through.
That's correct. Uh-huh.
So, when you get those calls, how do you handle that? I mean, I don't really know what my question is, but I'm sure you get those all the time.
Well, that happens. It does. It does happen all, and people call us for our opinion. And the reality is we can't. We're not contractors. We don't go up on roofs, but we do know what claims adjusters look for. And if you've had an inspection, there's usually some good pictures in there. And we talk with the buyer's agent. That's who we're talking to. Mm-hmm. And we're like, look, this isn't too bad. Yes, I would ask the seller to make a claim under their insurance, and maybe you guys can split the deductible. That way it's amicable for everybody. They get the house sold and you get the house you want, and it gets a new roof. That's always beneficial. But if it's a seller's market, maybe they won't agree to that. Hey, just you make a claim and I'll pay your deductible for you. That place needs a new roof.
Yeah.
Because it's got to get replaced one way or another. And we have written letters with our opinions on them to buyer's agents to use in negotiations. Like, this house is uninsurable based on the inspection report.
Right.
And you can see if it's got major hail damage. Yes, we'll put that on our letterhead. In our opinion, we will not write a policy on this house because it's got damage. And we don't write policies on houses with damage. So we help our agents that reach out to us in that way, just helping them with negotiations and doing anything we can.
So when we were talking previously, you said one of the things to talk about during this episode is the ways insurance can screw up a real estate transaction.
And there's so many ways.
And that just sounded interesting to me. So I thought we'd go down that road.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road when it comes to the real estate transaction. You want to hear nothing about the insurance except it's in force and we can close. Right. That's all you want to hear, right? So that's what everybody wants to hear. But unfortunately, when you pull the claims history on a house, well, now we got to investigate because it's got a water claim or it's got a roof claim. And does the seller's disclosure disclose that? And were repairs made? And how are those? So all those things can mess up a deal or at least complicate negotiations at the very minimum. So, or the worst thing that can happen is you don't hear about the insurance and they close and the buyers move in. And then they find out there's a problem with insurance. And their company they bought insurance with to close on the home is now canceling the policy, but they've already moved in. Well, guess what? Now, at that point, the buyer, the person who's just bought the house, is on the hook for all the repairs, and they've got to make them now. It doesn't matter what it costs. If they want insurance, they got to make them right now.
And now, so, are they then on the had insurance canceled list? So now their premiums are higher?
They're on it. Well, no, not necessarily. Okay. It depends on what happens. But yes, if insurance has been canceled, I mean, for me, that's a huge red flag. Someone calls me and is like, well, who's your current home insurance company? Oh, I don't have insurance on it. Oh, well, what's wrong with the house?
What happened?
I know something's wrong. So that's why you don't have insurance. So it is just a huge red flag. And this happens because insurance agents have binding authority, meaning they can bind a policy regardless. And the insurance company they're contracted with trusts them to uphold the underwriting rules. And they check on the back end. The insurance company checks things on the back end. So we can make everything happen. You can close your deal and then it blows up when you've moved on from the transaction. And that's what we want to avoid. That's the worst thing that can happen to a homeowner, and it reflects bad on everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. Because it's the realtor's fault because you recommended that person or you let me use that person.
Yeah.
It's every insurance company and agent on the planet's fault because you guys are all the devil.
That's
and
right.
it's all the seller's fault because they didn't disclose, and whatever
All
those
this-
things are. And
It's just bad for everybody.
Yeah,
And
it is.
And so, when you're talking to an insurance, when you're talking to me anyway, I'm going to give you a conservative opinion on the situation. Like I'm going to try to scare you about everything that could possibly happen. And then you can make your decision on what you want to do, what kind of risks you're willing to take, So, but having the information up front so you can make an informed decision, that's what's important before you close, before you sign on the dotted line.
Now, how important is it to have an agent, a person like you, versus some of the insurance companies that they may be less expensive for the same, basically the same coverage, but they're going to cost less. But when you have a problem, you're calling into a call center, so you don't have my guy.
Right. Excellent question. I mean, the big difference is with an agent, and I come free with my policies, right? They just give me away free. Just gets a free agent with it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means that you've got someone to talk to off the record. That's what it means.
This call is not being recorded and will not be used for training purposes.
That's correct. So just you call me and say, I have a situation that I want to discuss. If you do that to a 1-800 number insurance company, and you say, I think I don't know whether to make a claim or not, I just want to talk about something. Well, the first thing they do at the 1-800 number is open a claim, which goes on your claims history immediately. Whether it pays, whether it's even investigated or not, you called with a possible claim situation, you are making a claim with them. With me, you're discussing it so you can figure out what the right course of action is. So that's a huge deal, because if you make a claim, let's say my wife actually just had her rear window in her car broken into, and they took her laptop. Okay. This was 2 weeks ago. Well, should we make a claim? A lot of people just call the company and I'm going to make a claim on my home insurance because my laptop was stolen. Well, that's fine. And your deductible applies on your home insurance, which is usually a couple $1,000s. So your laptop doesn't even meet that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So they say, yeah, it's covered, but here's a check for $0 because it doesn't meet your deductible. Well, now you have a theft claim on your home policy. Now you can't shop your insurance for 3 years, because no standard insurance company will even look at you if you have a theft claim or a liability claim within 3 years. Sorry, we can't write you. Next. So if you have an agent.
For a laptop.
Yeah. And if you have an agent, you can call me and say, Todd, my laptop got stolen. They bashed in my rear window. Okay, let's look at your deductible. Your deductible is $3,000. What's the laptop cost? I got it for like $750. I mean, call the police. Get yourself a new laptop. Because if you make a claim, you're not gonna get any money, and you get a claim on your record. It's not worth it. So that's what you get. Those are the
things that people don't understand that, and they don't think. You think everything's always fine, right? You don't expect your back window to be bashed in and your laptop stolen.
Correct.
And
you're like, oh, I got to tell insurance about it. And so they call the 1-800 number and tell them about it. Yeah. They say, great, we'll open a claim and send you a denial letter. Thanks for calling us. I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah. And that's
it takes
why
away
you need
your
a free
freedom.
agent. Yes, it does. Well, and your ability to make decisions.
That's right. And it's not right, but that's the way it is. Yeah.
So, and I think insurance, and whether, people, it's just, it feels like this, just this big book of stuff, like the tax code or something. We don't understand it. We just know it exists and we have to abide by it.
Yeah.
What can individuals, consumers do to somehow make it either easier or better to understand, or do we just need to call you?
You definitely need to talk to your agent, your insurance company, and tell them to explain what that means. Because, if you read that, insurance policy is the most frustrating thing to read because it's full of double negatives. We've added an exclusion. Oh, this additional exclusion. That kind of language is all through the policy. Wait, you added something you're taking away? I don't understand. It's double speak for 70 pages on your home policy. So, the good thing about having an agent is you can call them and they can explain things. And whatever your agent, because they're licensed, whatever they say is covered, whether the policy does or not. That doesn't necessarily mean that the company is going to cover it, but agents have errors and omissions insurance.
Okay.
So that if they testify to the client that something is covered, they're going to get held responsible for that. There's a way to protect the client because the licensed agent told you it was covered. And believe me, I've been set up before. Someone called me one week and said, hey, this is particular situation may happen. Is that covered? Yeah. And then the next week, oh, that thing I called you about, well, that happened. So I need to make a claim now. I mean, it was the biggest setup in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and my Arizona emissions insurance, they contacted them and they denied the claim because the guy was clearly scamming. But my point is the word of a licensed agent is a bond. So in answer to your question, short story long, call your agent and have them explain it. You know, give me an example of how this coverage works. And they should be able to tell you a story of an example of how that coverage works.
Kind of give you a anecdotal, if
Just
this were to happen.
Yeah, to relate. You need something to relate to, you know? For instance, we say, what's personal liability for? We say, well, if you're having a party and everyone's at your house and your dog bites someone's leg off, well, you're liable for that. So your personal liability is going to cover you for that. That's
oh, all right. And that,
okay. I get it. Yeah. You know,
but you know, and that is what it is. Sometimes it is. And anything that, like you said, is a service that you can't necessarily, isn't tangible. Right. So what does a real estate agent do for their client?
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
So what does a real estate agent do for their client? Well, we do these things, but it's all up here, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, other than opening a door.
Sure.
But it's the same, I think, with you guys, is it's the knowledge that we have.
Right.
To be able to impart that to you in a way that you will understand, not that people are stupid, but that it's just a difficult concept sometimes.
Well, and you don't deal with it ever. Like you just don't have experience in it. Just like using a real estate agent, you don't deal with real estate contracts and all the pitfalls. Same thing with insurance. You buy insurance, you know what you pay for it, but you don't really know how it works until you need to use it, and you learn the hard way. Well, you know, we've been in business 13 years. We've seen, you know, darn near everything go wrong for people. And so unfortunately, you know, half my job is scaring people about what could happen. And then I offer a solution to prevent that from devastating them financially. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
We talk about what could happen,
devastate, right? Like you said, what if your house burns down? What if you're on vacation and the neighbor's house catches on fire that has nothing to do with your house or your electrical panel?
Right.
And yet you come home and your house is ashes.
Yeah. Where do you even start?
Yeah. Where do you start? And that's why you want an agent and not an 800 number.
That's right. Yeah.
Because the human being of the agent is going to be able to calm you down, have some empathy.
And give direct advice on what to do now.
Yes. Don't do this because there's many things you don't want to do.
That's right.
First do A, B, and C, and then we'll do D.
Yes. You know, and you know, speaking of that, when it comes to, you know, big devastating incidents, you know, I've seen this freeze that happened last year. This was one of the worst things I've never seen anything bigger. I mean, it was just a massive, I've just never seen as much damage as I saw last year. And I can't tell you how many of my clients got paid 6 figures plus. I've never seen that many clients get paid 100,000 plus for the damage. And these people were, and it happened to everybody. That was the tough part about it. There's no place for everyone to go.
Right.
So we were renting RVs and hooking them up in RV parks so that our clients could move out of their destroyed house.
Oh my gosh, really?
I mean, just doing anything. Yeah. And we were literally at one point, we were just taking people's word for the damage because we don't have the manpower to investigate it. We've never seen
you couldn't send adjusters or whoever out to every single house.
Yeah. And and Farmers was just putting money in people's accounts. Oh, you have this. Okay, well, we're going to deposit $25,000 into your account right now. That's what they were doing.
Wow.
And that's, to me, that's massive. I've just,
Yeah.
I couldn't have been prouder, because they were doing everything they could possibly do to take care of people who were just displaced, And so
everybody was just like, what do I do? They were just, I was so fortunate that we lost our power, no damage, no frozen pipes, nothing.
Same
but then
here,
people I know had their whole house was just caved in.
Buddy of mine, his house, every pipe in the ceiling burst, and his whole entire house, they stripped the whole house, and insurance paid for all of it. And I think it was like $200,000. He had basically remodeled his entire house, but he was out of it for a year. Because there's not enough cabinet makers, and there's not all the stuff. It's just like,
so couple that with pandemics and supply chain issues, and
it's unbelievable what's
all
going
those
on
things,
these days.
right? Yeah.
It is unbelievable. We've never seen it. It's a new time for insurance.
It is a new time for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the current situation with insurance in Texas? I mean, it's a state by state thing. You have to be licensed in whatever state you're going to write insurance in. So I'm sure it's different between here and Oklahoma. What's going on now, especially after that big freeze we had?
Well, that's the home side. Okay. So the freeze coupled with inflation, coupled with supply and demand issues, it's the, no pun intended, it's the perfect storm for the insurance company. We've never had all the bad things happen at the same time. Our money's worth less that we're paying out. There's not enough people to do all the work. And we've just experienced one of the worst natural disasters ever in Texas.
Texas, yeah.
And on the auto side, you've got distracted driving, which was a problem long before the pandemic hit. Okay.
Right.
Pandemic hit, everyone stopped driving, and the insurance companies all made a fortune for a minute.
Right.
And that they started giving people money back. If you remember, everyone just refunded people money for 2 or 3 straight months. And so now we're at a place where the miles being driven, according to our data, it has eclipsed what it was before COVID hit. Okay.
Really?
When miles driven go up, claims frequency goes up.
Sure.
On top of the claims frequency being as high as it's ever been, inflation is killing. Inflation in parts supply and medical costs are skyrocketing. So again, it's the same thing. We've got more claims than ever being made, and all those claims cost double what they did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It just costs way more. So everyone's auto insurance rates are going up right now. And so the insurance company, they just simply can't raise rates to fix it. They have to also tighten up their underwriting. They have to tighten up their coverage. They have to reduce coverage. They have to increase deductibles. Things like this are happening.
Yeah.
So what I encourage everyone to do is read your renewal, read your home insurance renewal, because it's telling you things have changed. Not your rate hasn't just gone up. Your coverage or your deductible may have increased, and which actually mitigates your rate increase. It makes your rate go down when you increase your deductible. Take a higher deductible, get a lower rate. So you're getting a rate increase of 30% on your home, but because we've increased your deductible as well, it's only 20% increase. That's what's happening on your home.
So it's,
oh, by the way, your roof may not be covered with replacement costs this year. I know it's been covered for 10 years with replacement costs. It may not now. So you need to read. And then when you see something fishy, you need to call your agent.
Yeah.
And so,
and it seems like you get something in the mail from your insurance company every time you pay your bill, almost. It just seems like, so it becomes junk mail.
It's noise. Yeah,
it is. And you don't really look at it. Now, I've been with Farmers, State Farm, Allstate, name it, forever. So it's all fine.
Mm-hmm.
And we just move it to the side. That's
what they do. And for 80%, it's the 80-20 rule. I always go back to 80% of the people, they're probably fine. For 20% of the people, you really need to ask a few questions. And, I know my competitors, I know what their deck pages look like. I know what their endorsements do. I'm happy to talk with anyone about any situation they have. I know how to read my competitors' declarations pages. So I can help you navigate that. Obviously I want to sell a policy because that's how I make a living, but I can't control price. I can only control coverage. My whole goal in this whole situation is to just be a resource for everybody. I just want to talk to people about their insurance. So if you have your renewal and you want to talk about it, let's look at it. I'll tell you what it says in real speak and not insurance legalese. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but now it's an important time to do that.
Because you just said something, and I'm going to probably quote you reversed or backwards. You said you can't control price or rates. You can just control coverage. What does that mean? Kind of explain that.
So, I can't control what an insurance company charges for their coverage, but I can tell you and control exactly what the coverage limits are and what the endorsements are, what endorsements are included. Endorsements are optional coverages you can take or leave.
Okay. So you can talk to somebody and say, well, if you want to pay X amount of dollars more, it will cover this. Yeah. If you don't feel like you need that, it's kind of an optional thing. We can take that off. And
great example is, why don't you haven't had on your auto, just an easy way to put it. You haven't had a wreck in 10 years. Why don't you take $1,000 deductible to save some money? Because you clearly are not accident prone. And then we'll spend a little bit of that money on a couple of endorsements for OEM parts, meaning you'll get factory parts when your car does get in an accident or your windshield gets shattered. Yeah, I'm telling you, these windshields today cost $2,000. It's because they've got all rain sensing sensors in them, and they have antennas in them and a special coating. It's ridiculous what windshields are costing these days.
Yeah.
And you can't get it without the right endorsement. You can't get the right windshield without the right endorsement. It's just a huge mess. We'll have to have another lunch. We'll talk all about windshields. But
that's right. The next one is going to be, Todd Campbell Farmers. Let's talk windshields.
Let's talk windshields. And it's ridiculous. We can spend a little bit of the money you save by increasing your deductible on having a low deductible for windshields only. There's special things we can do. Good places to spend your money and bad places to spend your money on insurance.
You know what? I bet I would venture, because until I started talking to you guys and learning more about it, it was everything's the same. You pay the money based on your age, your gender, and how much you drive. And that's what it credit. Always, I think I didn't know that for a long time either. Yeah. And you just thought everything was the same, every 30-some-year-old female that drove to work and back had the same kind of rates. And it's not so. It's not so.
Oh man, it's an insane difference. People are like, well, Todd, what does a house built in 1990 that's 2,500 square feet cost to insure? I'm like, well, it could cost $1,500 or it could cost $8,000. Because that's the range. I mean, it depends on who the insured is, depends on all sorts of other things. What's the zip code, the whole 9 yards. So we have to collect the right information and do the underwriting to find the price. That's just all there is to it.
So one other thing I want to touch on that I know a lot of people don't know, and if you're in the process of purchasing a home and you are in that stage and you're talking to insurance people and you're selecting your homeowners, and agents don't always do it, and they probably should, is requesting the clue report to see if correct me if I'm wrong, that is to see if there's been any claims against the house in the last 5 years?
It goes back 5 years. And now all insurance companies don't use 5 years worth of information. Farmers use 3, but we can see the report for 5, and we can see what the claim was and how much it paid and when it happened. And so you can cross-check that with the seller's disclosure, because it should be on there. That doesn't mean people are hiding things. Sometimes they do actually forget about stuff.
Yeah.
But at least you can, as an agent, look into it, and because it's fine. I mean, claims happen all the time for good reasons. And if they're repaired properly, it's no big deal.
Right.
But at least you can ask about it and not get into a bad situation.
And just know that they collected money on that claim to fix that pipe, and that pipe got fixed, not that they used that money and
which they could
landscaping.
Which that happens all the time too.
And,
and you can do that. You can not use the money to get it fixed. but it's never going to be covered again until it's proven that it is fixed. And that's, again, where we go back to the buyer getting in the house, and someone got paid for a roof but didn't fix it. We closed on the house, and they make a claim, and their new insurance company said, "Oh, I see a claim was paid 2 years ago and there's no proof of repair, so we're not going to cover it." And they're like, "Well, I didn't make that claim and not get it fixed." Well, I'm sorry, we're not going to cover something that hadn't been fixed. That's the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bad gotcha that could happen.
So that just goes all the way down that road as a buyer. This is why insurance is important. This is why we recommend insurance agents and companies that we know are going to do the right thing by you.
Right.
So that, because I don't talk about what I don't do, and I don't do insurance. That's why I have you.
Likewise. I don't want to talk about real estate contracts.
Just don't want to do it.
Yeah. It's too much already. Like, we need to just be good at what we do and just use each other as resources. And that's definitely the goal for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, what is anything else that we didn't touch on that you might want to make sure gets out into the world today?
I think I'll just reiterate that people really just need to pay attention.
Yeah.
I know the insurance is just noise, and it's just so difficult to focus when you're even reading that stuff. It's worth your time. It's worth 5 to 10 minutes to look at your home renewal or your auto renewal and just understand what's happening. And also just kind of, everyone's rates are going up. It's not because they think you're a bad person. And it's people who haven't made a claim in 10 years and their rates going up a lot. It's not because of you. It's because insurance is a risk pool. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not based on an individual. It's based on a group, and our group is Texas.
It's
based on Texas.
It's a big group.
Yeah. So it's just, there's reasons for all this. So I just recommend dealing with someone who can explain it in terms you understand.
Yeah. So if somebody did want to give you a call, we're going to have all your contact information, obviously, in the show notes. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
They can always call my office. We love that. We love being contacted on social media, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. You can text my office, and someone at my office will text you back if you want a quote. There's a million ways to contact us. We can be contacted. It's probably text and social media, DM, and of course email. We're always checking our emails. Those are great ways to contact us, and it's convenient for everybody.
Well, and I want to point out, it's not, you've got how many fully licensed agents? I think 10
we
fully
have
licensed.
10 including me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 10 fully licensed agents within your group.
Right.
And so you've got lots of resources.
That's correct.
To be able to handle something quickly.
Yeah. And we've got, the people on my team are very experienced and dedicated to service. And, we just want to make situations better. Of course, we want to sell something, like I said, but if we can't, we're still going to help. We're not just going to drop you because we can't sell you now. So, because being a resource is our number one goal.
Yeah. So here's what I would say, and this is something that I do on I used to do it more regularly, but it is periodically really review your policies, because again, all those things come through the mail, and it is noise, and we don't look at it, and all of a sudden we have a legitimate claim, and our deductible is twice what we thought it was going to be, because we didn't realize that it went from 1% to 2%.
Which and that's an unfortunate thing that insurance is listed that way. 1%, 2%. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Of what?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows. So just call your company, call your agent, call your advocate, and have them explain it to you in dollars, not in percentages. How many dollars does this equal if I make a claim?
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? And if you want to compare, I highly recommend reaching out to Todd's office. They have always been very good for me and my clients, and I know the agents in my office. He has always been very responsive to all of us. So
thank you.
He's not just on here blowing smoke. He actually walks his talk. So,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, all right. Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. It's always something that we all need to be reminded of, is the insurance.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, look forward to helping anyone who needs help. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you real soon.
Thanks for joining us for Relax I Got This with Texas Realtor Robin McCoy. Check out all the show notes for contact information on Robin and our guests and to access your free buyer and seller guides. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Relax I Got This with Robin McCoy.